So, Mr. Cooper, you started, again, the whole setup of the first server, 2007-8, right? And you gave the domain, the Clinton domain email address, set that up. Is that correct? That was at the very beginning as she was leaving campaign, coming into office.
I'm sorry, from my recollection, there was a President Clinton domain set up prior to that point, and the Clinton email domain was set up in January of 2009.
2009, okay. At some point when she left, I guess the private capacity came into the public, I have some information that at least 2 of her old mobile devices were destroyed, and you took part of that. Is that correct?
I believe you're referring to the FBI report that mentions the 2 devices.
Yes.
I can't.
When did you take part in destroying some of her old mobile devices?
Yes, at some point in time, when she was transitioning from one mobile device to the next, we would take the information that was on the old device, back it up, transfer it to the new device.
And you worked with Mr. Pagliano?
I would interface with Mr. Pagliano on this. This is relatively.
Did you ever discuss with him how you could destroy a device?
I don't.
Did he participate in destruction of any devices?
I don't recall any conversations of that type.
Okay. Are you aware of what happened to his emails? You actually were the one servicing the server for most of the period while she was Secretary of State. Is that correct?
I would categorize it differently. Brian Pagliano serviced the server.
Oh, you set it up, and he conferred, and you conferred with him.
Mr. Pagliano set it up. He engineered it, and I was the interface between the users. And
would he have had any
Pagliano
emails on those servers, to your knowledge?
No.
He wouldn't? And you have no idea what happened to all of his emails?
I certainly do not.
You also were made aware on 2 occasions to Secret Service, I think January 2011, that someone was trying to hack the system. Is that correct?
I used that word colloquially to describe what was a series of false logins on the server.
And not once, but twice, then you
closed
closed down the system briefly to deal with the situation?
Correct.
When were you first contacted by the FBI?
I believe it was August of last summer.
And was that the first time you sat down with them, or was
Yes.
that later? That was your first interview?
Yes.
How many times were you interviewed?
3 times.
And could you give us the approximate dates?
Off the top of
Last
my
summer
head.
was the first, and then subsequent?
Last summer, subsequently in the fall, and this spring, I
Were
believe.
you ever offered any type of immunity agreement by the Department of Justice?
I was not.
How long have you been represented by your current counsel?
Since the beginning of, since I was first contacted by the FBI.
And again, you've explained that it was the Clintons who paid for your counsel up to that time, and the organization that was set up by the Clintons?
I'm the only person who's paid for my counsel.
You've paid for your own
Yes.
expenses. They've not paid for any.
Correct.
Did you have you had any kind of a joint defense agreement with any other individual involved in the FBI's investigation?
I have no such agreement.
No such agreement. Finally, you step back from the day-to-day activities with the Clintons about the time of the transition. Is that correct? As she left office
Yes.
and Pagliano took over?
Yes.
And you were also responsible for the helping with the transfer. In fact, you walked her aide, Hanley, over the phone through taking the information that they had in emails and archiving it. Is that correct?
At one point, I assisted Monica Hanley in setting up a laptop computer so that she could create an offline archive of the emails that were on the
And to your knowledge, was everything
I do not know the outcome of that.
You don't know if there were, and do you know finally, was there any deletion or attempts to delete any information that had been stored that was going to be transferred and archived?
I have no knowledge of that.
Thank you.